And that brings me to your book, Saving Men from Themselves. In the book, you outline 20 proven tactics. Can you kind of walk us through a few of those, maybe all of them if you like, that can help men get unstuck and take more meaningful action?
Sure. Well, one of the key themes here is that it's more than just diet and exercise, right? Yes, diet and exercise are at the core, and you want to follow the guidelines that say you should really do cardio workouts, and then resistance training. That's sort of at a centerpiece of it, and then of course lead a healthy diet. I like to follow what we call a Mediterranean diet because I advocate for that because it's got flexibility. It doesn't mean that you can't eat meat ever, right? There's some flexibility there, which I think as a practical matter would be attractive to a lot of guys, right? But in the book, I talk about, again, building that motivational platform and enhancing our relationships so that we have the motivation in the first place. So, for example, I talk about communication. Now, why would you, in a book about healthy lifestyles, talk about communication? Well, communication is central to sustaining and having fulfilling relationships, right? So if you need those relationships to provide motivation, and guys, admittedly, probably not the best communicators in the world, right? That's one area where we fall short. So let's work on our communication skills and realize that the ability to communicate with a spouse, with a child, whomever, with a buddy, can really enhance that relationship and in turn provide that motivation to live healthy. I also talk about, the power of laughter. Laughter can be a very healthy practice. And so we want to do that. Optimism contributes to all the sciences that contributes to good health. And so, yes, diet and exercise are part of it. It's at the core. But, again, the science suggests, and frankly, our American experience suggests, right? Not to digress, but, we spend more money on healthcare in this country than any industrialized country in the world, Jeff. And do we have the best health? Are the Americans the healthiest people in the world? No, we're not. In fact, we're middle of the pack. So we're spending all this money, middle of the pack. We have gyms and fitness centers everywhere, right? But yet less than 5% of Americans lead a healthy lifestyle. While there's a little bit of progress now on overweight and obesity because of the new GLP drugs, upwards of 70% of Americans are obese or overweight. So what's wrong with this equation? And that's why in the book, what I suggest is that we need to look at other factors that will motivate us. So that's why communication, laughter, developing our relationships, is in the book along with diet and exercise. Right. So that's some quick thoughts on the what I characterize as a different approach to healthy behavior.